Hello everybody and welcome to episode 23 of Competitive Magic with the Carnies. I'm your host from Italy, Andrea Mengucci, and joining me we have Javier Dominguez from Spain.
Hello everyone.
And Anthony Lee from Australia.
Hola.
We started last week the Patreon, so we had some new entry this week. I want to thank Janara, Eric, Austin, Daniel, Harpo, and Jamie.
Thanks a lot.
And yeah, they joined the Discord, which is starting to have a few more people there, which is cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers,
And
guys,
I mean, if you want to show support to us, that's the best place to go. Patreon.com/Carnies. But yeah, aside of that, what did you do, Carnies, this weekend? Did you play some Magic? Did you test for the PT in Philadelphia that's happening in a few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we tested a little bit, but I personally went to this old school local league we have here in Barcelona. Like see the friends there and play a little bit of like paper Magic. So I didn't test as much as other weekends, but yeah, I mean, it's good to have a tournament, in the future, so you can just whenever you sit down and play and be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get a little bit better in the format. What about you, Anthony?
I don't know. I mostly tested. That's it.
No, Nictas were won this weekend, or Nictas.
I did play an RCQ. It was pretty hard because I've shifted my time zone to match the east coast of the United States, so it was effectively not a very good start time for me. But I played through the event anyway, and it was fine. Yeah, it was good.
Did you play a luck deck, which is the official advice when you are like out of your time zone?
I'm not sure whether I played a luck deck. I think it. No, yeah. I guess if you're not sure, it's a luck deck. Let's say it was a luck deck.
Yeah.
All right. Very nice. And so when are you gonna leave for Philadelphia? Because I know Anthony, you won't be around next episode because you'll be leaving for the US. Are we gonna do some holidays, New York vacation before?
No, that's afterwards. I'm just going early because I know that I'm quite likely to get jet lagged or maybe a little bit. You know that you get some travel bugs when you go through airports, so I want to get that out of the way before we all go to the house because I don't want to make my teammates sick or waste time, being unconscious at the start of testing. So I just leave a little bit early to get that out of the way.
Very nice. Yeah, there's gonna be limited at this Pro Tour, so you'll definitely need to do some like real life drafting. It's just not like only constructed Discord.
Absolutely, yeah, yes, definitely.
Yeah, can't really replicate the limited testing online.
Yes, I would say there's a limited ability to replicate it online. That's what I would say. Yes.
Yeah, I remember once I was on a train with Simon Nielsen, Zen, and a few other people, and we just had like this draft through the train. It was like, just standing up, passing the booster. It was it was a lot.
We did that once in Japan, and only like halfway through the draft did I realize that we were traveling on the Haruka Limited Express. I was so excited. It was perfect. That's the best train to draft on, by the way. The Limited Express in Japan.
So many limited experiences.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, I remember going in Japan in the Shinkansen, which now I always call the red card, Sokensen. I always call it Shinkansen.
Oh,
because I think that was a train from Kyoto to... Oh, by the way, so the Pro Tour was in Kyoto, you remember, right? And I booked my flight to Tokyo because I thought the Pro Tour was in Tokyo.
Oh, really? Well, I guess at least if you have a Shinkansen, it's not too long to get from one to the other, I suppose.
No, I think it was. I remember we were there together, right? I think it was like an hour of the train.
Yeah, that's not far. You look at how far the distance is, and that was pretty good.
Oh, but it was like over €100 ticket, though. I remember that part.
It's cool though.
Good stories. So yeah, best of luck in the Pro Tour. Is going to be exciting to watch from home. Some high level paper event. Definitely something
very exciting.
Are. Yeah.
I still fully expect Anthony to take it down.
That seems improbable.
We will see.
We will see. Anthony already has the world invite with his regional championship win in Australia, so he's already representing the Carnies, guaranteed. Maybe Javier will join.
Or maybe Mengo will join.
Pretty good odds of that, yes.
Napoli. Yeah. Maybe we can be 3 out of 3. That would be great.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Naples being standard. I don't have the best odds. Let's just say that way.
But you're Mango. You can get there.
All right. Standard challenges, by the way, we'll talk about that later, but there's a lot of decks I like. I like the big white decks, which seems to be super, super popular right now.
Yeah, but let's first talk about, like, you know, because I saw someone tweeting this week. I don't know if you know him. It's Mingo09. The name might sound familiar to you, and he was saying, like, you know, sad days for modern fans. You know, what happened this week? Because some of our listeners might not be aware, but there was an announcement.
Yeah, for sure. Yesterday, PlayMTG, which is the new Twitter account for Wizards, tweeted something like, "Thanks for your feedback. The upcoming RCQ seasons will have a single seasonal format plus limited." They said also to lower the player barrier entry, but we'll get to that later. But basically, what they said is similar to the past when we had a PTQ season of only one format. It's going to happen the same thing for the regional championship qualifier. So the first season will be Pioneer, so every RCQs will be Pioneer or sealed. The store always has the option to make the format sealed, but what it is liked was that, once again, Wizards is just forcing their formats into the players to become competitive. You know, if you listen my content, if you watch my content, you know I love Modern, and a lot of RCQ were Modern, just because it's mostly on I guess in Europe and the US, it's the most popular competitive format. So I was a little bit sad of that. But then they replied to my tweet saying that the next season after Pioneer will be Modern.
Che
so
disastro.
Che disastro. Anthony was not happy in the chat in our chat. So yeah, so basically what happens is that so far stores had the option to choose their tournaments, whereas from now on, if the tournament is an RCQ, it has to follow the season. So yeah, that's it. That's the news.
So now let's talk about what we think about the news. I mean, the tweet is pretty clear. Like it's pretty clear that Mango doesn't like it. But why you don't like it? Like, do you think it's like gonna be worse for the formats? Like, what do you think?
Well, in general, I dislike that people are kind of like forced to play certain formats, and also I love that the store can follow his community. The store can follow the community in order to choose the format. So, for example, where Anthony lives in Australia, at the western side, there's a lot of people that love Pioneer, that love Standard, so they make those RCQ. But where I live, there's a lot of people that love Modern. So and as far as I know, the attendance for Pioneer is a little bit lower compared to whenever the tournament was Modern. So things like that. This might hurt the stores a little bit, but at the same time, they might sell more Pioneer cards. I don't really know how the economics work. I love that people can play the formats they like. And when that doesn't happen, I'm a little bit less happy. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that Modern will be part of the competitive world, even if it's not in the next few days, in the next few months, some months ahead.
I don't know about this concept
That's a good
of
point.
forcing people to play formats. I don't really agree with that framing. I think it's good that Wizards has the ability to promote formats, so to help people get into them. For example, I think Pioneer is very popular now, but it would never have been if it was not the regional championship, if it was not the format for the return of the regional championships and the pro tours and whatnot. We would have missed out on that opportunity if not for the ability of Wizards to encourage people to play the format. And organized play is their best tool to do that. I mean, if people really don't enjoy the format, they can just not play it, right? I don't really understand this idea of forcing, because whatever format they choose for the RCs and the PTs is inherently to the exclusion of other formats. So, I mean, picking any format is forcing people to play that format, isn't it? It's a bit strange to... I don't know, I see this sentiment about Wizards forcing people to do things, and they don't. Wizards offers you something, and if you choose to engage with it, you can. That's true for many things.
I guess the point here is like, let's say you play Modern and you don't like Pioneer or the other way around. You can be like, I want to play the RCQs, and before, if it was like half each or whatever, you could just pick which ones to play. But now, if the season is in the format that were like you didn't like, you're like either stepping out of the RC system or just playing that format. I
Yes,
assume
you
that's,
can step out of the
that's
RC system. That's fine. Like that's
yeah,
what's
it is
the
fine
problem?
now. Yeah, at
Yeah.
least with this new system. I mean, both. I think both sides are actually fair. I don't have like any strong opinion about this. To me, I really don't feel either way. But yeah, I mean, good talk.
So I think from a business standpoint, it's fine that Wizards chooses to push formats where they sell the newer cards, so Pioneer and Standard. But at the same time, it's great that players can just see the list of RCQs and being like, okay, day 1, 5, 7, there is Modern, so I like Modern. I will go to these 3 and I won't go to the other one because, I have a lot of things to do maybe in the month, so I can like just choose 3 events and just skip the rest. Whereas now it has to be something like, oh, I just, for 3 months or how long does the season last, either I am forced to buy a new deck and learn a new format, which, many people don't have the opportunity to do, and then the next season, every event is Modern, so it's like, it's going to be, I don't know, I feel like it's really nice that just store can decide based on the players they have, but at the same time, as you said, Wizards incentivize competitive Magic with the newer formats.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe the system works better without Modern being part of it, because I think Modern does tend to have a much higher barrier to entry than the other formats, and maybe that is a problem. But I suppose stores can run limited instead, so maybe that will help. Something that I thought, I mean, I had initially thought that they were intending to phase Modern out of high-level competitive play, which to me would make a lot of sense. From a financial perspective for Wizards, but also for the high-level competitive players. But I realize now that the opt-out, like the Pro Tours are more standalone experiences now. So before, missing a Pro Tour was just really bad for you if you were trying to maintain some pro club status, or if you were trying to chain Pro Tours for whatever reason, you just couldn't miss one. That was disastrous. That would probably cost you your ability to play the way that you wanted to. But now I think Pro Tours are more of a standalone experience. You can just opt out. So if you really don't want to play a Modern Pro Tour, you can just not. And it doesn't cost you that much, other than, I don't know, maybe one of the end of season Worlds top 32 slots or whatever. And I think we'll probably see that. I think some people will choose to skip the Modern Pro Tour, and that will be fine. And I think that's a much healthier way to engage. So before, I might have been more opposed to Modern continuing to be part of the tournament circuit, but now I think it's quite fine. And I think that's true for any format, really. If people don't like Pioneer, they can just skip a Pioneer Pro Tour, and that's fine. It doesn't cost anyone anything, really, or at least nothing very much. So, or at least much less than it used to, perhaps. So I think that's something important to note. What's that?
A Pro Tour these days qualifies you to the next Pro Tour as well, so you're skipping it.
Yes,
you're skipping a qualifier, basically.
You might be, yes, but it's not quite the same as like before. Like if it's so hard to get gold if you skip a Pro Tour. And
yeah. There was levels before, and now there is somewhat of a level, right? If you get like 35, what is it exactly? I haven't really
some number of
followed,
adjusted match points. So you would be missing that, but I think the main reason that would be important is at the end of the 3 Pro Tours of a season, the top 32 top 32 adjusted match points get an invite to Worlds, which is pretty big. But I think the scale is not quite the same as it was before. So even if Modern has some serious barriers to entry, I think it's not as harsh as it is before to be locked out, which I think it's very difficult to balance the desire of Modern players to have their format showcased, as well as other Wizards and other players' desire to have competitive play be more accessible. It's very hard to balance, but I think having each Pro Tour as a standalone experience makes that more possible.
Yeah, it must also be said that Wizards is now releasing some product that is uniquely modern. So they like this summer will have the Lord of the Rings set, which will be legally modern. So they will have to like sell, of course, and like push that format as well. So this is probably why the season will be modern, right?
It's not that. That's not that season though. That season is the regional. The RCQs can be any format. The RCs must be Pioneer, and then the Pro Tours of a non-announced format. So we don't necessarily know it's modern either.
Okay, sure.
So there
We're
is
gonna speculate though. We're gonna speculate it might be modern.
We could speculate on that. Yes, I think that's reasonably likely. Although I do think it's odd that if it was modern, they would probably just have announced it, right? So I think maybe there's something interesting going on there. I have a feeling that Wizards has a couple of firecrackers lined up.
Let's just say that Wizards doesn't really do things like they announced that it's modern in my comment on Twitter. You know, so
but they'll make the full announcement.
don't-
They'll make the full announcement next week. They said they just wanted to reassure you because you were so visibly upset, which I think is reasonable. But they did plan to announce everything on the 7th, which is what they initially said they were going to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just the Wizards doesn't exactly announce everything.
Well,
they
but people
already
complain
planned.
about announcements of announcements, don't they? I mean, isn't that?
Oh no, for sure.
But it's not a bad thing. Would you rather they just said nothing and then made the
That's
full
true.
announcement out of nowhere? I don't know. I kind of like this.
Maybe.
I
That's
think-
okay. I
yeah.
think you went.
I think this
You
is more
went fine. You
communicative.
went fine.
Yeah, I think this is better. Better than
Do you
leaving it
remember
askew for a
when
week.
Yeah. Do you remember when they announced the end of GP coverage in the comment of a person?
Yeah, I do
I
think
don't, but-
maybe they could do some things like that better, but I think that's a communication issue. It's tough.
All right,
Sure.
all right. When do you guys play different formats? I don't. I play all the formats, so I don't have a strong opinions. But I think I have a strong opinion about something that happened this weekend. Can we move into that because I really want to say it? The next
Go ahead.
point.
I would
Oh,
rather not.
okay.
Let's just skip the standard. I think.
Can I guess?
I don't want to.
Can I guess?
I don't want to
Yeah,
give
you
our
can
views.
guess. You can guess.
Does it have to be with some modern challenge winner?
It does. It does.
Is the name Ryumei?
Yes, exactly. You made
Wow, what a
a
lucky
new
guess.
MTGO champion. I'm gonna clap for them because Ryumei won the challenge this weekend with Merfolk. Finally,
My favorite deck.
my favorite deck that I haven't ever played before, but I decided to champion this deck when we started the podcast, and finally, it rightfully took the challenge this weekend.
Are you sure it counts as championing a deck if you literally never play it? I don't
I
think
mean,
that's.
I am actually. I'm championing the deck every podcast, so
true.
that counts me as a champion, Anthony. You're not getting the point of being a champion of a deck. It's not about
think you have
playing;
to
it's about
play the deck at
loving
some
it,
point.
caring about it. Cheering. Like when it wins, I'm happy. So
Yeah, it's like how you root for a sports team, but you never
Exactly.
played the sport.
exactly, it really made me smile when I saw the winner. By the way, I mean, it took the top 8 in a. What would I say? Like it's full of bad matchups in the top 8, but half of the matches are bad when you're playing Merfolk, I guess. But I want to talk a little bit about the deck
That's
list.
true,
Yeah,
though.
it's true though. But yeah, like it plays only one Silvergill Adept main deck.
Main deck.
Does
Main deck.
yeah main deck? Why did you say main deck?
Because the other 3 ones are in the sideboard, and I've been analyzing the decks a little bit. Like I took some minutes to actually like see what was going on, and I think this person probably just nailed it. Like because if you look at the metagame, like in the modern metagame, most of the games where you play Merfolk, games are going to be over very often before you actually have time to deploy all your hand. Like you play against, many decks where they either kill you super fast or they die to you super fast because they don't interact. And there are a lot of matchups like that. And that's where the Adept is really, it's really very bad. It's a 2-1 for 2 that throws a card. But it's not only that, it's also like you have to play it relatively fast because if it's the last card in your hand, it's like a mulligan also. So you have to play it early. So it makes your deck like way slower. And most of the matchups, this is not what you're trying to do in this metagame, especially with how this deck is made. Like it's Dismember and Force of Negation. So he's really trying to close the game as fast as possible. And Silvergills Adept actually doesn't fit into that plan as much. I saw the deck list and I was like, wow, this must just be like super wrong, right? There's only one Adept. It's like the best Merfolk. But the rest is on the sideboard, so you can sideboard into 4 Adepts against matchups where they try to kill your creatures. But instead, this deck plays Mist Color, which I had to I have to search what it did. Like I knew the card, but I didn't actually know what it did. But it has a lot of applications, right? Like it's good against matchups like Yawgmoth, Creativity, or whatever. And I feel I see this deck list, and I think this has been like tested and thought about a lot. Like I think this is a very refined deck list. That's my impression of this Marvel one. So yeah, I'm very happy about it.
One interesting decision is to play Force of Negation main deck, because every time, I see a Merfolk list these days has the Subtlety main deck and the Force in the sideboard, but this person swapped them.
Yep, it's also like they go very deep in the Svelon part. Like I think they're trying to go a little bit more like, just play the creatures fast. Like I think they want to be like more a traditional tempo deck and just trying to prey on the non-interactive strategies a little bit more. I think this player is trying to be on creativity decks and as such. That's why no Adepts and Force of Negation. I think that makes sense. I think they're just trying to sort of give up the blue-red matchup game one and just have all these cards on the sideboard, because everything that's not like blue-red or similar or scam, those cards are just like underwhelming. Like you don't want to play like this kind of cards anyway. But yeah, it's interesting. But I think it definitely worked for them, but I think it does make a lot of sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so this weekend we had 4 Modern Challenges. It's the first time that so Magic Online has had the 2 Modern Challenges every weekend. So we have a lot of content to us to talk about, a lot of opportunities to us and to you to compete from home at various time zone in Modern. So definitely a nice new thing that the Daybreak is bringing to Magic Online. Just seeing the most popular formats and actually understanding where they could make more, I guess. On Saturday, we had another challenge, and there was another very weird winner, as in, a very uncommon deck list. We've talked about it on the podcast last week. It is the deck called 8 Cast, which actually plays only 7 Galvanic Blast. Sorry, 8 Blast. 8 Blast. No, not 8 Cast. I'm used to it. But only says 4 Gal and 3 Shrapnel. But it's playing 4 Monastery Swiftspear, so a slightly different list than the one that came second last week. It's playing 4 Monastery Swiftspear and only 1 Bomat Courier.
What do you think about that? You played the deck a little bit, right? Which one do you think is better?
Yeah, so I played this version actually because this was a person, a streamer went 4-0 in a preliminary with the Monastery Swiftspear, and I played his list on a video that came out yesterday on my channel, and I was impressed. Honestly, the Swiftspear, I mean, obviously, right? This deck is a million one drop, so Swiftspear was very good, just like it is in Blue-Red Prowess, and I think it really belongs to the deck.
It looks in paper to me, yeah, that it has to be better than Bomat Courier, right? Like this deck is surely designed to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Bomat is also good here, but like, being able to just close. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can go like turn 3, Galblast, Bold, and just kill someone out of like 16 life or whatever. And that's just so powerful, I think. I found
Galvanic Blast Battlecraft to not be that easy to achieve.
Yeah, it has to be hard, right? You don't have that many artifacts, but
yeah, like especially with like the bubbles that you kind of often just crack because you just don't have any cards. And I mean, obviously, I played a lot of 8 Cast, so I am used to hold my bubbles, but I'm happy to hold them if I have like Thought Monitor and Kappa Cannoneer and such in my hand. But if I literally have nothing and have a fetch land, I have to crack them. So I felt that Galblast was often a shock in my experience.
You mean Burst Lightning?
Yeah, I was going to say people
Superstar.
Play Burst Lightning, right?
Exactly.
What's the problem?
We advocated about you literally advocated for Burst Lightning last week, so we don't say shock here. Mango.
Yeah, no, I mean, I also played Tarfire in my Zoo deck like last time I played Zoo. So it's a lot of, I mean, you need to kill Ragavan and Galblast does it, so it's okay. There's Urza Saga, which is great. Like, you remember how I disliked a midrange deck with Urza Saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is an aggro deck with Urza Saga. So it pressures the opponent in the early game and then just plays Urza Saga on turn 3 and on turn 4 and 5 makes Construct, which is much better than a mid-range deck that, doesn't really maybe have time to make the construct, or the construct are super small. Plus, Urza Saga is actually the best way to give you Metalcraft. So there's the deck works. I think the deck works. There's a lot of weak cards in the deck, like Voldaren Epicure. It's not a powerful card, and Bomba Courier maybe is also not a powerful card. So maybe if you can. I've seen a list that did well in the preliminary playing Tarmogoyf and Random 6, cutting some of the weaker cards. So I think there is some work to be done. And with Random 6, of course, you have the engine of Urza Saga plus Random 6. So I think this archetype can be worked on. And Tarmogoyf, again, I played Tarfire Tarmogoyf in the Zoo deck, and Tarmogoyf, I took a screenshot of playing against Blue and Murktide at turn 2, 6/7 Tarmogoyf, definitely, which dodged the Anoli Heat and won the game.
It's tricky though, because the more cards you pull like Renan 6 or Tarmogoyf, the worse your aggressive cards become.
Of course.
Like, it's very risky. Also, like, Synthesizer, Synthesizer with 2 drops is already like dangerous. I think that, it's worth trying for sure, but I'm not even sure that will be the case. Like, I don't think Grand 6 really belongs here. I think Tarmogoyf actually makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because it brawls, but I think Grand 6 does not belong here, even though it's obviously good with Saga and such, but I don't see Grand 6 being particularly good here, at least as a mana card.
No, for sure, it could totally be. Again, it's a new archetype, so working. In Modern, you don't really have like testing team working hard on the deck list, so the deck changes take a little bit longer. But I do like the idea, and I think it was certainly impressive. Like a lot of preliminaries for were this archetype. I believe like 3 just last week. So definitely a deck that is starting to see a lot of play Modern, and a deck that can go turn 1 Ragavan can never be too bad in Modern.
Yeah, it's one more Ragavan DRC bubble deck. That seems to be like the best. Like, it seems to be like red is the best color in Modern because of these 3 cards. Because there's Mortide, there's the Breach decks, there's this archetype now. I'm pretty sure there are more decks like that.
Zoo, Zoo is another turn 1 Ragavan deck.
Like, this was just kind of true ever since they were printed, right? I guess now we have figured out more ways of using them, but they were a front runner basically from the start, I think. So
yeah. No, but now there's more directions.
Yeah.
Let's say that before Renin 6 was a more popular card. Now Renin 6, it's really not popular. Like, it's just it exists as in creativity, and maybe if somebody still plays Omnath, but it's just if you're in the draw, it's like it's fine now to cast turn 1 Ragavan, whereas before you're always afraid that they would just go Renin 6 ping it, and you would be like so behind all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, since the banning of Jorian, Renin 6 has never been like as popular as before. Yeah, let's see. Maybe
overall. Nice winners for sure. The Saturday also had another, again, now it's a common deck, but Zoo won the Saturday challenge, the 3rd one, again, with the combination of 2 Tarmogoyf, 3 Nishova Brawler. But and then on Sunday, a crazy deck was about to win, but actually lost in the final, and that is the Glimpse combo deck. The Glimpse of Tomorrow, that's actually playing, like, it's unbelievable that this deck got second in the challenge. I played this deck this morning. It was the, luck deck. Like, there was such a luck deck. It's unbelievable.
Well, I didn't see it. Like, I saw the deck list, like, scrolling, and I just saw, like, Glimpse on Tomorrow, so I assume it was, like, the normal, blah, normal Glimpse on Tomorrow. What is this? Wow.
Yeah. So it's playing 4 Emrakul, 4 Omniscience, 4 Nicol Bolas, the Planeswalker, and 1 with the Multiverse, which is the Brothers War Omniscience that lets you cast a card for free from your hand or from the top of your deck.
Wow.
Which actually... Yeah, so so you have 10 Cascade spell, you Cascade Glimpse, and you hope to hit right. But today I played a league. Not only I played against like a million, like all 5 of my opponents had counter spells in their deck. Not actual counter spells, like counter magic. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do well. But also whenever I hit Glimpse for Tomorrow, I would just brick sometimes, like just flip nothing and lose.
What a deck.
This is just unbelievable.
Also, you can Omniscience and then cast Glimpse of Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's actually a rule that I didn't know. Magic Online explained it to me, basically. But if you have omniscience in play, you can cast from hand Glimpse of Tomorrow, even if it's...
But then you lose the omniscience.
You know how, like, if you hit with Ragavan and you flip a Crashing Footfalls, you can't cast it?
Yeah.
This is different.
You cannot,
so you can't cast Glimpse.
Yeah, but you lose the omniscience.
I did, but I didn't have anything. I just hit Omniscience and nothing else. So I had to cast a Glimpse from hand, and that's one of the games that I won.
And then you're hoping to hit Emrakul, I assume, also.
Yeah, but like you also have Nicol Bolas. But
7 mana Bolas. This deck is completely wild. Like, this is, I mean, I am... wow. I never...
Certainly... Yeah, this person went undefeated in the Swiss and then made the final. So a lot of...
Screen Gritterny, you deserve the best deck list of the week award easily.
For sure.
I'm rooting for Merfolk, but this is not close to be close. Like, this is just okay. Second class.
Yeah, this was in the decks of the weekend of me every Monday.
It could be easily decks of the month or even decks of the year. Like, this is completely wild. Nice.
And then I think the last deck to talk about in Modern that caught my attention over the weekend is the Mill deck. 2 people with the same Mill list made the top 8, which is not something that happens every day. They were playing Mesmeric Orb, which is a card that, again, haven't seen much since Prismatic Ending and Leyline Binding are such easy way to handle permanents. I would say mostly Mill just relies on Tasha, Fracture Identity, and etc. It's a strategy. I'm not a big fan of Mill, but it got the job done for 2 different players in the same event. That's cool.
Nice.
It always feels to me like it's sort of a burn deck in terms of like it's not easy to interact. But I am surprised that they decide to play Mill when now there's so many breaches around. And the breach has to be good against this Mill deck. Even though I guess Social Construction also helps. Like they played 3, so it must be pretty good.
And Extirpate and Soga Lantern. I felt like whenever I play against graveyard decks, I'm not that unhappy to play with Mill, like against Dredge or stuff like that.
Makes sense. You naturally have to play. Yeah, you have to naturally play a lot of the graveyard hate anyway. So often it ends up being actually a great matchup.
Yeah,
exactly. I think that's like the similar misconception, like a similar misconception to Burn against Shadow, Mill against Dredge. I feel like it's
that's different, but yeah.
Yeah, similar as in like you help them with their plan a little bit.
I think we already had this talk last week where we actually...
let's not go down this rabbit hole again. It's going to be very deep.
All right. That's Modern. I mean, I'm still shocked by the Emrakul Recall Bolas Omniscience one with Multiverse deck.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, one with the Multiverse. I bought it on Sunday for 2 ticks to build this deck, and this morning was 5.5. So
MTG
it's spiking on Magic Online.
Stocks, but it doesn't matter because you're never going to sell it anyway. So
buy high, never sell.
That's right.
But also buy low, never sell is kind of good as well. It worked for Mango.
Yeah, I'm just one of those Magic players that just enjoys watching the prices of the cards they own without actually ever touching them.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. That's people love numbers.
I know.
Yeah,
it is perfectly normal. What do you mean, Anthony?
I think it's normal. Is it not?
Okay. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, Modern. I mean, Modern just like keeps. I think it's amazing. As Mango has mentioned it many times that there's not teams or whatever, but like Modern keeps rotating and it keeps changing. I think it's just. I love just watching the results in Modern. I think it gives me joy very often.
Very fun, and now we get to do it twice as much because they added 2 more challenges every week. This Sunday there's a Modern PTQ. Those usually tend to be huge, like 400 people huge. So
are you gonna play?
That will be.
Are you gonna play or?
Yeah, it's this Sunday. I might. I had a vintage paper event, but it looks like it's canceled because not that many people decided to play it.
Okay, so maybe you can take it win a PTQ again. You won one a few weeks ago, so.
Yeah, so I played actually a lot of Magic Online these days. I really enjoy playing the PTQs because they're like this group of friends. We all enjoy doing that thing now. So this Sunday I played the vintage PTQ. I finished. It's funny. I was 3-4 and I got paired against Nassif.
Wow.
In the 3-4 bracket, and I got to make 63rd on tiebreaker, so I won the prize of top 64.
All the value.
My 4-4
Got to
record.
work for it.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually like Nassif almost timed out as always.
Very Nassif. So what do you think it's good to play going forward in the weekend? What would you recommend?
If I get to play the Sunday PTQ, I'll for sure play Murktide. That's the deck I am, the happiest to play in a 9-round event. But today I plan on playing the preliminary at the 8 p.m. There's a preliminary on Tuesday, and I'll play the Kiruga Elementals. I want to play the one from Respect the Cat.
Oh,
okay. That's a very cool deck also.
Yeah, that's a deck that I think not that many people are playing, and it has a lot of power. Of course, like I played it today on stream, and every time you cast Kiruga, you feel like it was a companion worth having. Like, of course, the restrictions are huge, but once you cast Kahera or you cast Giganta, you don't really feel like you've achieved that much. But with Kiruga, you just win the game when you cast it.
Yeah, that's a different feeling. Okay. I will try to look deeper into the 7 Blast deck. I think that one, making a few adjustments, it might be a very good deck for the PTQ. And that's what I will probably land if I had time for testing. Mm-hmm. If I had like a few hours to test, I will spend these few hours playing that deck because I think that will be worth it. All right. Let's move into the format of the people, maybe?
No, we're moving to standard
which
now.
Is the format of the people, or was.
It's one of them.
When I was rowing, like standard used to be the format of the people. All the FNMs were standard. So in my heart, standard is always the format of the people. I know, year 2002 or something like that, 2003.
I know, I've never lived during those times.
While Mongrel was the card to beat in standard and this kind of things. Those are the days.
Wow.
All right. Scrolling through the standard challenges, as always, if you check out the description, either on the podcast or on YouTube, you'll find all the links to every deck list we are talking about. And there's a lot of white, so much white in the standard decks. What's going on? Where are all the black cards advertised of the standard format? Where are they now?
They are banned. With Massacre.
No.
I mean, that's definitely not what happened. Just so we're clear, that's a joke.
It's a joke, but I have to say this will likely not happen if Midwood Massacre was legal, because we will not have this winning announcement feast right now. But yeah, it was a joke.
That's probably, it does contribute, of course, for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
White seems to be the color. That's
one big change that happened, because I'm playing a little bit of white. I even played a Magic Online League with it, and is that Farwell, it's now starting to see playing the main deck of these big white decks to have an edge against the Rakdos, Grixis, Esper, maybe?
I thought it was also about the mirror match. I think in the mirror match, there are some situations where, you're behind. They have this winning announcement or 2 winning announcements or whatever, and it's very hard to catch up. Because if you play like a Lauren, they can just play the 4-drop and you just like this rabbit hole where you never get out. And Farwell is like, Farwell, let's go back to the starting position. Also, it's kind of good with Reckoner Buster. Like, obviously it kills sometimes the Buster, but like you spend some time getting card advantage with the Buster, then you Farwell, and then you just play the cards you drew.
If you think of their Bankbuster just as a card draw spell, like the synergy with a very powerful board wipe is very intuitive, I think. And
exactly.
It works that way.
Exactly. You can even sometimes keep it in the battlefield, but more often than not, you actually try to kill their Busters as well. And if you play yours first, you often are ahead in cards, so you can rest it. Yeah. I mean, these decks do not look easy to attack, because with the Grixis deck, you could think I'm trying to go under or whatever, capitalize on the fact that they don't play Shield or whatever. But you look at this deck and it's, how do I beat this deck? Well, that's not going to be easy.
So usually, in my experience, the way I beat the white decks was thanks to Invoke Despair, which is often just, you get to do all 3 modes sometimes, since they have Enchantment and Planeswalker. And also Fable of the Mirror Breaker, because they don't have, outside of the Lauren, they don't have a lot of removal spells, and sometimes you just get to make so much value with Fable that you get to keep the value, and if you don't overextend into the far, well, that's how you can win. So it's difficult, of course, and but I think that one of the strengths against this deck is definitely Fable.
I don't think that's true, Mengu, because remember this deck actually, like, this deck was made, it derized to actually play in the Grixis, right? Like, this deck was built to beat Grixis, like in the mocks and such. Like, this is the reaction the format had to be Grixis, even though I agree Invoke is a very good card here, also Fable, but the rest of the deck is like pretty weak against this deck. Like all the removal spells, they're they have no use, like, almost. You have to go for the throat here. Good luck. You're gonna go for the throat on Lauren. Like it's I don't know. Like, it's not that easy. I assume like these Mardu ones with the Angels and the Fables are like trying to go that way, but I don't know. It's just like, are these decks weak to something like Esper? Maybe, right?
A little bit, I think.
Yeah, maybe it's a good, but it's tricky, right? Because if you play Esper and then you run to Grixis, you're behind again. It's definitely it looks like the format is not going to move much before Phyrexia, but I think this is a hard deck to beat.
I like something super strange is the person that arrived 7th, Falcon. He's playing 31 creature, 29 lands. That's the list.
Well, that's
and he's playing 4 Thalia, Garden of Thraben, and the spells are actually sitting in the lands with 4 Eiganjo, 3 Otawara, 2 Takenuma.
I love it. That's really the Esper Legends concept again, which is it's been enduring,
But this deck has to be decent, at least against the white decks. It has to be actually good. Like, it's just a bunch of legend.
Yeah, Thalia is really quite difficult for these decks, I think.
Yeah, you have the removal spell in the Wandering Emperor and the Lay Down the Arms, but you gotta kill everything, right? It's a million other creatures.
Yeah.
I
like it. I like this Esper deck.
It's great.
This is good cards.
Yeah, I had to read a lot of cards, but
they just print so many good legendary creatures that, like, things that read as though they would be harder to enable are pretty easy. I think that was like a big breakthrough that Mogged made before, where he realized that you can just play all of these legendary creatures and then play all of the channel lands, and then your deck both floods less and, well, because you have a million lands, but it actually still has good interaction. Like, Otawara is like, if you can discount it to only 1 or 2, well, mostly for 1 mana, that's actually quite a good card, right?
Complete for Otawara's also. I feel like Otawara is better than Eiganjo when it costs 1, because it's never there. Like, Eiganjo, if you're not being attacked or whatever, it's worse. But Otawara, in any single like board position, Otawara has uses. Like, you can just bounce your own creature with only 1 mana, and you even through Thalia, and then you can just replay it again, right? Like, protect your shield or whatever. That's the only thing I think I don't love about this deck. But overall, like, this concept, I like it. Like,
it's a nice deck.
This is something I will definitely try for next weekend if I was going to play a challenge or a tournament or a local tournament, because it seems to be good, and at least on paper, it should be good against these white decks. Like, if you have a hand with like Announcement and Farewell on the draw and they play a Thalia, you know how it is, right? Like,
that would be pretty rough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this weekend it's per release, so I'm gonna go to my LGS and I'll stay there a few days. I plan on building a bunch of standard decks.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice, and I like this Falcon deck, this Esper Legends. And it's not something I ever thought could be possible.
Yeah, there's on the other challenge there's like some of decks like this, but they're a little bit like streamlined. Like, there's G-Stay with Top Tier Mechanic. Like, there are different builds. But
Gigi won the challenge with this Esper deck, actually.
I see.
Yeah, came first with the Raven Man. The Raven Man.
Yeah, that's what we haven't seen that much of. But it's so
similar
easy to trigger
shell,
that guy.
but Raven Man. Yeah, it's basically the same deck, but a little bit different in terms of the card selection. But I will say the same concept, the same idea, and I think it's also this Influence Stroke in the sideboard. This is the classic sideboard slot that actually takes a lot of weight in both decks. I think, that's what I will go now.
Does the Raven Man work with Connive?
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
Every discard.
But
so your Connive, your channel lands as well, by the way. People forget that a lot. So your channel lands trigger it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Raven
your
Man
opponent,
with the Blossom.
Your opponent's cards too, by the way. Blood Tithe Harvester, Fable, also trigger it. So
Wow.
What about Gigi is not playing. Is playing the Raven Man, but he's not playing the 3-drop that connives from Capenna. Toluts is not playing that one.
Oh,
That's a combo.
that's fine. I mean, you only need to trigger it once a turn. It's not like you need, like, if you do it twice, you don't add more. So I think as long as you're able to consistently trigger it, it's good.
Yeah, this Tolos card sounds like the kind of card that maybe should be like a one-off. Like, there's so many legends here where you actually want to draw 2. So I think it would make sense.
Doesn't
to
seem
just,
that powerful, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just better to play one Raven Man and one of these guys. I mean, it has to be better than playing 2 or 3 of the same, right? Like, they're legendary and they are like, they do different things, and these things are actually good together.
I assume
so
it's a
may as
curve
well
thing
just,
because Esper cares so much about that.
yeah, exactly. But I mean,
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, we also see a lot of Denix, but Denix is like very good against Grixis and such, but it doesn't do much against the white decks. So I wonder if that's like too many Denix, considering how the format is. I don't feel like Denix. Also, like you have the number with Takenuma as well. I mean, with some of the decks had the Protection Missionary.
That's unacceptable to me. I really don't want to play those two together.
Yeah.
What does it do? Oh, okay, I understand.
I don't know. It's a little bit.
Can you have a Danik in play and the backside in play all together?
Yep.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
You can. Well, the finalist has like 4 Tolus and 2 Raven Man, the Hamuda player.
Oh.
So all three decks are like very different.
Very interesting as well. Because I mean,
different.
I seem to think of him playing a lot of like strictly white aggressive decks, and I guess this is, I mean, in spirit it's related to that, I guess, but it definitely doesn't look quite like what I see.
I think it's gonna play a little bit more mid-rangey, right? Like there's gonna be a grind. Like every time it plays against soldiers or whatever, they're probably gonna play in defense very often. I think that's mid-range, I guess.
Makes sense.
Wow, there's a legendary Zulapur Cutthroat.
Yeah, Lassel It's not exactly Philipor Cutthroat. It's probably like better, but
I had to read so many cards, but it was fun. It was a fun read.
Yeah, they're good cards.
All right, yeah. I have to decide, Anthony, which of these 3 decks should I build? I like the Falcon one the best.
I will go for Hamudas actually.
No,
Hamudas plus one land.
He has the Nombo.
I mean, you can change that.
Missionary,
that's okay.
Danik Nombo.
You're not married to that.
Yeah, I mean, you can just cut them. Yeah. Then maybe Gigas is J. Maybe Gigas is J. No numbers there.
I can do the Frank Karsten aggregate list.
Exactly. Just put all 3 in a calculator and just do the aggregate of these 3.
Don't. I think that doesn't work for standard. I wouldn't do that, but maybe.
You do it for the science and win whatever you're playing, so you can just tell Anthony that he was wrong.
Amuda doesn't play Disdainful Stroke in the sideboard.
Okay, then don't play Hamudas. I think the card's very good. Okay. I have changed my opinion. I'm gonna go back to the Falcon.
All right. I'll go Falcon. I like Falcon.
Okay,
Maybe we can cut like 1 Danik. But yeah. All right, cool. Every time I do this podcast, I end up like buying like 50 euros of standard cards afterwards. Like last week, you made me buy the new Teferis, 2 of them. And now I have to buy 1 million Legends, which would be incredibly expensive.
No, they're going
to be useful for the standard tournaments.
Then these cards don't seem expensive.
Yeah, most
probably
of the cards
Otawara is the only expensive card here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Otawara is not a standard card. It's like an evergreen card. Right?
Yeah, I know. Of course. All right, always fun to talk about things I don't know very much of.
I mean, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good experience to have.
Only one soldier deck in the 2 top 8, so I guess the metagame.
I mean, people are naturally adapting. That's just, I mean, we've kind of seen that every time, right? Like, I fully expect these big white decks are not going to be that big a deal in a week or 2, because we've seen like, wow, Grixis dominates everything, Grixis is busted, then no, Soldiers is everywhere, Soldiers all over the top 8 now. I mean, come on, this is the 3rd time, we've got to learn our lesson, right? Let's not say
No,
we know.
Mono white is busted, everything is mono white, just we don't. Anthony, you're wrong. We will not ever learn the lesson. We will just now say mono white is the best.
Well, if we're not learning the lesson, all right, mono white's pretty busted then.
All right, I mean, mono white is the best in other formats, though. Right?
In Legacy?
For example, let's see who won the Legacy Challenges this weekend.
Hank, this Magic Online name, Hank the Obese, they're in every top 8 with Initiative of every format.
He's really throwing his weight around,
yes.
That's all the Legacy and Vintage, luckily.
Yeah, I know. He also top 4 at the Vintage PTQ with Initiative. Also, his list is so wild. He's playing the Chancellor Randex and March of the Otherworldly Light.
That's pretty wild. I'm pretty sure I have lost to this player on the list.
I saw you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I lost to the
you.
Chancellor and to the Gemstone Caverns and the Cyborg. Like, these cards are... Yeah.
Two Gemstone Caverns and Cyborg, that's true.
Yeah, because you want to turn one initiative no matter what, so...
Yeah,
Caverns into two. I mean, maybe this deck could play one of the Caverns main deck. It won't be that bad, I assume.
The newest addition to the Legacy Panorama is Panorama a word to put in this sentence?
We can. I mean, it's a little odd here, but I think it makes sense. Let's go with that. You probably meant Panorama.
I like that
I think
word,
that's
Panorama.
Cool. You probably meant
in Italian we would say this way. I just translated the way of saying it, which is, if you're speaking your second language, it's not always good to translate your first language way of saying it into English. So that's why
it doesn't quite go.
Panorama is such a beautiful word. I love it.
It's a nice one.
Yeah, the Legacy Panorama. I like it. Let's go with
that. The landscape, maybe. I don't know.
The landscape.
The landscape. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Let's use Panorama over landscape. MTG linguistics.
All right. So DN Solver won the challenge with Mono Blue Painter, which is not something we've seen lately. And I've played this deck on Monday. I don't want to say I've been impressed, because I think... So basically what it was, I think, is that... You know how much I like Mono Blue 8-cast. So this deck has the strength of that deck. So it has the Urza Saga and the Emery. Those are the strength. And it also has the combo kill to get the White Initiative matchup. But at the same time, it doesn't play Chalice of the Void, which is, I believe, just the biggest strength of every Ancient Tomb deck.
Well, I think it's because the Chalice of the Void problem is this initiative problem where, the card's so bad against initiative that it's just trying to beat that deck.
Exactly.
I think it's not about Chalice of the Void not being... I think if they ban initiative, the Chalice of the Void will go back into this deck and certainly make it better. It's also Chalice of the Void is not as good as it is in 8-cast, because here you sometimes have to cast the Grindstone or whatever. It's not...
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's not as good. It's still good, but not clearly great.
No, my parallel was with the Mono Blue 8-cast. Is this or Mono Blue 8-cast better? And I think that... this might be better right now, because I think the problem with 8-cast is that your opponent plays Chalice of the Void on 0 and your deck is just not that good. Mm-hmm. So this deck plays around that a little bit.
It's very resilient. I think the painter decks are resilient overall. It's not very easy to tag them unless you play something like an Old Rod, in which case, but Stony Silence or whatever. But
Urza Saga helps you against those, but
exactly. I think they're good decks. But more things happened in this Legacy weekend. Namely, there were 2 Cephalid Breakfast decks in the top 8.
Wow.
And
what a weekend for having Merfolk and Cephalid Breakfast.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I'm very happy with this. Also, one of the players is Sawatarix, which is an absolute Doomsday master, which means Cephalid is officially better than Doomsday in Legacy. I mean, we already knew that, but that's
in his podcast. In his podcast, Kai says that Doomsday has a hard time against both Delver and Initiative, so it's just hard to play in the challenges.
Yeah, exactly. So the one thing I wanted to comment about this Cephalid decks is one of them is quite hard because it plays Orim's Chant, which is a card that had been long forgotten, but it's a way to sneak the combat through over it's playing it over the days. And also there was this Cephalid decks list that popped online that were super fast, and then there was the ZZ Jorian one me and Makuto were playing with the streaks and a control-ish approach. But now it seems like these 2 versions have merged, and it's the 60 card version but with the streaks to beat Delver. And those versions are starting to look very, very strong to me. I think this is finally a strong Legacy contender. I think this is the best Cephalid has ever been, and let's see if it can keep the top 8 pace it has recently.
This is why Javier wants Initiative banned. He just wants to see every deck banned until Cephalid Breakfast.
Well, I said it before, but I'm not. I think Initiative is one of the reasons why Cephalid is actually a good deck right now, because Baleful Streaks and even the cheaters, like, Nomad's Core is a creature, therefore it can attack and steal the initiative.
Yeah, wow.
Right, so you win a lot of possible games where you just play a Nomad, they play initiative, you source the guy and attack and steal the initiative and just win with initiative.
Huh.
Like, I think this initiative thing was just super good accident for Cephalid. Like, it was a fine deck, but it's better than it has been before because of that. Yeah, random creatures are good. Like, even Narcomueva, which is a very bad card, well, it does fly, so it steals initiative, which makes it like a fine card. Yeah, it's a little bit of an accident. Yeah. Also, Teferi, Time Raveler. Well, it's a card I never wanted to play in the Jordan one, but every time I play this deck or see it and play it, whatever, like, it's just very good. Like, I regret having not played this Teferi more in Cephalid because it's so good against many decks. Yeah. Also, the sad part is these decks are not playing Stoneforge Mystic, but maybe it's time to move on from that card. Who knows?
Yeah, that is Cephalid is definitely a deck that is not popular. Like, you keep on talking about it like it's a meme deck or whatever, but I think it's very consistently putting top 8 results.
Yeah, it's a fifth most deck played in Goldfish, It's like Delver Initiative, Painter, Reanimator, and Cephalid. It's more played than Elves or 8cast, So that's definitely more than... It's the best combo deck, I think. Actually, if I had to play in a tournament right now, like, not for romantic reasons or whatever, like historic reasons, I think it is the best combo deck to play. But I still will play Cephalid. Initiative or Delver if I had like a super important tournament.
Just malpractice not to, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Okay. How about we talk about a format that is very beloved by the people?
Yeah.
Alchemy.
Well, Alchemy is quite wild recently. I wonder if they're gonna fix some of the cards. Okay.
There's a format where they can't fix the cards, and that is Pauper.
Oh,
actually,
the format of the people.
You can ban some cards, but they don't do that. They don't do that. Yes. They said the format is fine like this, and there was a PTQ with a lot of people competing, and the top 8 is super diverse with only 2 archetypes only 2 of the same deck, which are actually Goblins combo, which is not very common deck. And Hamuda won
the same player, the top 8 is standard one.
Hamuda took it down. Yeah, he also top 4'd another format. It's like, I don't know, he tweeted something like, I'm tired at the end of the weekend.
Yeah,
it's definitely a long work weekend.
Sounds like it.
For him.
It's good work, though.
Especially since this Goblins combo, I don't know if you know how the combo works, Anthony, but Magic Online, it's a lot of clicks.
Yeah, I know about comboing on Magic Online generally. It's some effort.
No, like... Yeah, but back in the days, you had this, I don't know, a card that would just deal 5 damage. Now you cut that, put 1 for Dark Dweller Oracle. So instead of that, you just have to go through your deck one at a time to find a makeshift munition. So it's even more clicks now than before.
Yeah, because the 3-mana Goblin, right? Like, you paid 8 mana and just deal 5 damage to a player. Exactly. That was fast, kind of fast.
Yeah, wow. And now they play Dark Dweller Oracle instead, so it's even more clicks. If your opponent doesn't concede, of course, opponent might just concede.
That seems like annoying.
Yeah, but like it's totally their right not to concede. And
no, it's fine. I'm saying, like, they must have enough time in the match, otherwise this will have not won the tournament. So it's like time, but maybe it's like 3 minutes or so, I guess.
Finally, high APM comes to Magic the Gathering. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
The worst matchup of Mono Red, Goblins combo has always been Mono Red, but Amuda managed to even beat it in the final. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's not that bad of a matchup. As far as I remember, it was bad, but again, maybe it's.
I have to tell you something. So I went this like local commander scene in my town, like in a small town. So I went there and they had Pauper decks. So I mean, they asked for some games and I asked for this Mono Red deck because you told me it was a good deck or whatever, and it is good. Like I got to play like a few games, like I don't know, 10 games of Pauper. You see from other people, and this Mono Red deck was great. Like this cool Author River, I was impressed how consistent it felt. It was a deck like wouldn't flood much, wouldn't screw. It was good. I was impressed by it. Just
imagine a format where people just have decks around to land to like that. It must be a format of the people.
Exactly. No, I definitely had the format of the people experience. I want to tell you here because that I really felt like that. Like, wow, this is really the format of the people here too. You know, like people had random like decks there. You know, yeah, and then lend this to me. You see, Anthony, that's how it goes here.
There is an interesting card in this mono red deck that came second. That is Goblin Blast Runner. Did you see?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a
standout.
It's a new card and gets +2/+0 in menace as long as you sacrifice that permanent this turn. You'll be like, how can you sacrifice permanents? There's so many ways. You have Implement of Combustion, Experimental Synthesizer, Kuldotha Rebirth, Fire Blast, Voldaren Epicure. Wow.
Yeah, this card's actually smart, right? Like
I've never tried this card.
Yeah, I mean the one I got also didn't have it, but this is smart. I mean, it's gonna attack for 3 so often. Also, Menace is an important ability in Pauper because there are a lot of creatures around. So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, and also, notably, in this sideboard, there aren't any Relic of Progenitus, which is the main way to take down the near decks. So they might be too slow, and this person decided to...
Sorry, no, my bad.
Maybe the matchup is also, like, fine anyway. It's kind of good, right? Like, that's the only matchup I played, Mengu. And I felt like Mono Red deck was sort of favored. But maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea, but I felt like it was good for Mono Red.
Yeah, you only lose when they play the +1/+1 lifelink card on a 5/5. That's the only way you can
But
beat
it has to be the terror because the Gromlek Angler, it was not super hard to actually, like some of the games.
Bolt.
Yeah, like you just hold the interactive cards. I mean, maybe that's why I don't play this card. Maybe they did not expect that many blue-black. Like I think Pauper it looks like the metagame is very spread. Like it's not like it's only all the decks are different, but
yeah, I mean, there's definitely some played decks like Mono Red and Affinity are the most played deck, but after that, it's pretty diverse for sure.
I mean, looking at the top 8, I will have liked to play some Relic of Progenitus in the sideboard. That's for sure. Like there's like three decks that sort of fall to it. So
there's a combo deck in the Dark Ritual combo deck. What's it called? It has a name right now. I don't remember the name.
Storm.
Oh, yeah, it's Reaping the Graves. Yeah, Cycle Store. That's the name. Yeah.
This classic Storm that just falls to hate, but game 1 is like a great deck. Yeah, I mean that's I kind of miss playing Pauper sometimes. You know, I used to play it more before, and it's a cool format.
Yeah, so we had our local Pauper League in my town on last Thursday. We had 26 people, and remember, it's a town without a store, so it's just
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool. I wonder, like, if they made the league here, they will probably have some people as well. You know, like it's I mean it's
one way to find out. You know, be the change you want to see.
I'm not gonna make a league myself, but
I'll just pester someone else to do it.
I mean, if someone else does, I might show up, but I'm not gonna do it myself.
Well, let them know.
Organizing events, it's so bad. Like it's such a bad feeling. Like again, me and a friend of mine tried to organize this vintage on Sunday. You know, we found a place, and now just everybody goes like, oh, I have to do that, oh, I have to do this, and they're the same person that would just meet you and be like, oh, when do we play next time? And then they just, you know, when you actually do a thing,
that's the thing. It's free to say that they want to show up, and not free for them to actually show up. And then you get I agree. I understand. I agree with you.
And obviously, we make no money off of these events. Like this, like the whole prize, the whole entry fee gets put into the prize. So we just do it to play and stay together for a day. Exactly. So it's just it's sometimes demoralizing to organize these events and actually just have to talk to people who just make up. Whatever. I mean, it's just it's a game, and it makes sense that people don't want to play it.
Talking about this, like I'm very grateful. Like here in Barcelona, there's like this old school league. There's the pre-modern league. There's also a Pauper league in Barcelona, and those are run by people that actually just put in the effort to like gain nothing but the experience for them and other people. So I think it's cool. There are people there, like, you know, shout out for them, because it's very cool that people like that are just passionate enough for the game, you know, and they also know how to do it, to have tournaments like this. You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. The Pauper is super thrive here because every region has a league. Every region has like invites to the Paupergeddon, the buys and things like that. Like, I don't know if you heard of it or read it on Twitter, but the Paupergeddon sold 400 tickets in few minutes. and now they have to open the registration again for I don't know, like honestly that can just fill probably 1,000 people in that in Paupergeddon Milan.
That's wild.
Yeah.
One day I will go to one, I think, just to at the very least to make sure I take pictures to make Anthony jealous.
Ugh.
Yeah, we people, me and my friend got the tickets, so we'll be participating. March is going to be an intense month, and I look forward to it a
the
lot.
Magic Panorama.
Magic Panorama for sure. We have a lot of Magic to be played. But first, you have your Pro Tour, the actual factual Pro Tour.
Yep.
We've been calling every event Pro Tour, but you'll be playing, the first one after 4 years.
Yeah,
3, I think.
I'm kind of
maybe
excited.
4,
Like I still don't know how it's gonna sync when we are there, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be something special.
I think it is, because it's like it's going to be a huge convention with people coming in for like the actual. There's going to be a lot of events.
Yeah, also the house experience before. I'm looking forward to it. Let's say, the classic 2 or 3 kilos I'm gonna get that week, because that's what happens every time I go to the US to stay to stay in a week in a testing house.
I mean, if you eat Olive Garden every day, that's going to happen. That's you can't really.
Yeah, I mean, we will do the culinary review once we're back. That's for sure.
That'll be good. We'll get to show Mengu what some good food looks like. So.
Yeah, exactly.
The what was I thinking? Oh yeah, the testing houses remind me a lot of the instant ramen. Something I never eat here, of course.
Yeah,
but
I don't think that's happening this
I was
time.
doing this testing house, I would always eat the instant ramen
all day,
remember.
all time. Like
every meal.
Mengu will show up.
Yeah,
and meals will be very common also. Yeah.
I wouldn't expect
Also,
that.
I was so impressed that the Asian people like Li Shitian and friends, they weren't drinking the broth.
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know. Look, it tasted great to me.
Yeah, me too. It is strange. Yeah,
They would just eat the noodles and then just throw away the broth.
No, you eat the broth. You drink the broth. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe we're
What do
like
you
just
think,
Latins.
Anthony?
Yeah,
I don't know.
what
I
do you
never
think?
noticed that.
But you drink the broth or you throw it away?
I
If you
discarded.
ever
Yeah.
eat like this, you discard it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man, it's us.
Like for us, like when we eat, I don't know, tortellini broth or like, I don't know, many things like the broth that I know that instant noodle broth is not even comparable to that one, but the broth is very important.
I mean, imagine your grandma when she does the pasta with broth, and then
No,
you just throw it. Like
that's not comparing.
No, I know,
water?
but imagine like it's
Yeah,
it's our fault then. But yeah, I'm like Mengu here. Like I just drink all of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to
now
come
you
to
know.
America to eat that though. You can't buy instant noodle here. Maybe you can, but
It's not the experience.
I wouldn't-
Experience is eating the noodles there in America.
oh no, I have to get the story too, because we're in the story time. I remember once I come back from a testing house, and you know how like you have to leave the house and there's this left over, and I took home 1 or 2 of these instant noodle, and I brought it home here in Italy, and my father saw me, or like I don't know, smelled while I was eating them, and he was just so disgusted by it. Because it was funny. I still remember his face, or like,
What are you doing?
We got to bring back some stuff for him. Then we'll find something for your father while we're there, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, how I was in New York the last month, and he kept telling me like, stop eating this broth, because I was eating Japanese ramen, things like that.
I think you're meant to drink that. I'm not sure though.
Yeah. Drink.
Yeah, I think you're meant to. I'm not sure. I don't actually know though. Wow.
Yeah, the testing house experience is definitely one of the things. That it's definitely one of the experience you miss the most about these, because like
it's great.
when we did it in Sofia, it was really fun.
It was so fun. Yeah, I mean, we will do it again, Mengu. Don't worry.
All right. I want to remember once again that if you want to show some support, there is patreon.com/carnies, and also that you can find us on every podcast platform as well as on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
Thank
cheers,
you,
guys.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.